didn't do a good enough job getting the good ones to hit, and in the 7th, put a good inning together there. Just didn't finish it off, but overall, I thought we played pretty good baseball this series, and just keep it rolling.
Their bullpen, is that about as good as there is out there?
Their bullpen's really, really good. Yeah, they got a bunch of guys that throw hard and execute pitches, and you got to be disciplined, and you got to be able to execute your swing and be able to take your hit or stay inside the strike zone. And we didn't do quite enough off them this series. Obviously, the first game we had a good offensive day. I thought yesterday we battled King really well. He's one of the best starters in baseball, and then Cease threw the ball really well today. But overall, I thought we played pretty good baseball, and we got to keep plugging along.
Oh, breaking! No! Boston has entered the chat here on a Monday, August 11th, which we wish was a victory Monday, but it is not. Salem 5 Studios, Travis Thomas here with the Kasey Hudson in the house. How are you?
I am so good.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, slightly rode the emotional waves of the Red Sox not getting the win, but
who didn't?
I'm not panicking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into
Monday.
that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about why it's not a victory Monday, but also why we're not panicked.
Exactly.
And the Astros are up next, and it's Crochet Day.
Exactly. It's,
I mean,
it is like a national holiday at this
it
point.
is.
The
It's
minute
Crochet
the
Day.
Crochet Day gets announced, like
Yeah.
all is well.
Yeah, plus Kasey and I will break down the absolute whooping that the Patriots put on the Commanders over the weekend. Boy, that felt good. You know, I got peeps in D.C. too. Oh, it felt so nice. All I heard all week was a bunch of trash talk. Jaden Daniels, our guy's better. Well, guess what? Hold that L.
No, all I saw was like, we barely had our starters. And, But, you know,
Bunch
it
of
doesn't take
excuses.
away from Henderson just being a complete menace.
Oh.
The beginning of a villain era for such a humble
He's very
guy.
humble. So
Yeah,
we'll get into that. We'll also talk that statue that went up outside Gillette. We'll talk about that as well. And hey, remember this. You can catch a full hour of Boston Has Entered the Chat. 8 a.m. Monday through Friday on Nesson. 9 a.m. right here on Nesson Nation. And we always say we want to hear from you. Call us 617-790-0928. Leave us a voicemail. State your name. State your claim. Keep it clean.
Yeah.
It's a family program. All right, take it easy. Tweet at us using the hashtag NessonChat. You can also email us at chat@nesson.com. Pretty much any platform, we're available to you. All right, let's talk about this Padres series.
Let's open the group chat.
Yeah, we heard Braggy there. I mean, look, I don't know. All weekend long, you said it. It was an emotional roller coaster. Let's start with Friday night. So on Friday,
electric.
I remember actually sitting here Friday morning with George and saying, look, I don't have any confidence in this game tonight. Nick Pavetta's been pitching well. We all remember him around here. Buehler, inconsistent at best up until that point. And I said, if they fell tonight, it wouldn't shock me. I wanted them to have a good showing in the series, obviously.
Right.
That was the game that they won. I mean, Friday night, Nick Pivetta gets touched up. I saw Yoshida. I saw Wong. I saw all these guys kind of step up to the moment, and they handled their business. Okay, great. And then Buehler, I had to back up off of him because he went 6 shutout innings. And I was like, oh, my God, can you give this? Can we get consistency there? I don't need him to be great. He was great on Friday night. I just need serviceable. I just need consistently average. Hell, like, give me 5, 6 innings. Don't crash the car. He went shutout on Friday night, but if you
just want him to make it to the parking lot without any dingers.
I'll be honest. I'll take 2, 3 runs. If you can go 6 innings, only give up 2 or 3 runs, you're in control, you're in command, and then we go to the bullpen, I can live with that because I think you'll get that run support. So Friday works. Saturday, proved Friday was kind of an outlier in a way. Close game. Xander just kills you there, right? I mean, we just talked about Pivetta, an old friend. Xander's an old family member.
Right.
He pretty much beat you. You go to extras
No
there.
career hits, and then first one turns into a home run.
That one hurt. And Giolito didn't pitch well that night either. But, hey, it was close. You go to extras, you lose, Heartbreak City. Okay. Yesterday was the game where now I'm seeing levels. And I'm like, okay. It reminded me of right out of the gate, remember after the All-Star break?
Yeah.
They went to Wrigley, they went to Philly, and it was just like, well, we're close, but we're not right. That's what yesterday felt like. Bayo didn't do enough. I'm sorry. 5 earned runs, 5 2/3. It just never really felt like the Sox were in the game. That bullpen for the Padres all weekend long, but yesterday, oh my God. Dylan Cease, a guy I wanted at the trade deadline. Casey, I told you he was on my wish list.
I think that's what makes it more painful.
Yeah, of course it does.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me in a weekend, Xander killed me, Dylan Cease, who we could have had, killed me. Their bullpen is just filthy. Look, I don't know. You tell me, check me here. Am I overreacting? Because when I see this team, Sox, go against the heavies,
right,
the elite
right,
of the NL, they are not on that level. And I don't know if I'm breaking news here by saying that. This doesn't feel like a hot take to me. But against teams in the AL, okay. I mean, it's all even Stevens. We're going to see it against the Astros.
I'm going to take this emotional roller coaster, and I'm going to try to reel it in a little bit. Because I think what we failed to compartmentalize is this. The minute that we see play that we don't like out of the Red Sox, we all go right back to the trade deadline and go, well, this is what happens when you, okay, but like, let's tap back a series. Let's tap back to like the consistent and consecutive series wins that they were loading up. Maybe still not the same competitive level, but look at all the woes and the mistakes and the bad calls versus the Phillies, and then they were knocking off Russ coming back from the All-Star break. There was some kind of, variation
context.
there was some variation of like woes and like what was that and stuff that happened in this series also. It's not an excuse. It's just like that's the mental angle of any professional sports.
Sure.
The biggest reason that I'm not hitting the panic button is this. You're talking about a close game on Tuesday. What day are we at? On Saturday. Thank you. And that close game, you get 4 walks out of Giolito. One of those walks is the game-tying walk out of Ryan O'Hearn. If you take 2 of those walks away from the 4, you're talking about a team that at that point needed to protect their lead. And if it still ended up playing out the way that it did, they do have to get better when it comes to extra innings. Lou mentioned it over the broadcast, like 1-7 on the road when it comes to extra innings, and you've got to be able to get those runs in. So there are pieces of this game where now they have to bring a little bit more attention to, but where does it always start? It's got to be the execution of pitching, and that has to be consistent whether they're at Fenway or they're on the road. And that's why I want to give some flowers to Buehler, because a lot of like some of the inconsistency, one of the louder conversations around that was how he performed on the road. So him having that success versus the Astros on the road, I think is very telling, because where we really do need to see someone's game increase is a Buehler, for one, to help kind of like take away and stop jumping back to this whole trade deadline emotional roller coaster that we tend to go back to. But I think it was a narrow miss. And yes, game 3, Cease was a man possessed. The pitching really did rule out in a number of ways. I mean, Mason Miller in game 2, he was just a freaking Terminator at the right time and like these ridiculous moments that he had. But I just feel like there's levels to just like extra factors and distractions sometimes with these bigger series.
I mean, you make a really good point about Buehler, because coming into the weekend against the Padres, I thought for sure Giolito and Bayo, because they have been so consistent, Casey, like that is the big 3. Crochet, check. And then Giolito and Bayo had been very consistent. So I was like, all right, that's a big 3. And then the rest of these guys, Buehler, May, they have to figure it out, right? I did not see Buehler being the guy to shine the most out of the weekend. I was a little bit surprised.
But isn't that what he was brought here for?
Yeah, of course, but we haven't seen it.
Right.
We haven't seen it consistently.
Right.
And so it's been too wishy-washy. Like he will have performances like this. I think he was stellar. If I'm not mistaken, I think the Phillies. He was fantastic. But then the bottom will fall out. So this weekend he was great again. But then I didn't get it from Giolito and Bayo. In fact, after this game yesterday, Alex Cora, surprising to me, was defending Brian Bayo and saying, look, he didn't really pitch as bad as maybe the box score would suggest that he did.
2 blue singles, ground balls, United single. Then in the 6th, kind of like slow to the plate, they steal a base, we have to be better in that aspect, but I think overall, I agree with you. A lot better what the line is going to say.
TC mentioned the changeup. Would you like to see him throw that more?
Not really. I think keep being versatile. I mean, he's really good at what he's doing right now, using all his pitches. And, I bet when there's a lot of lefties in the lineup, we'll use the changeup. When not, we use the sinker and the cutter and the four-seamer. I think, every 5 days, regardless of the opponent, this guy can give us 6 innings every single night.
All right, I'm curious to hear from you all. 617-790-0928. Get in here, get involved. We want to hear your takes on your baseball team after this weekend losing 2 out of 3 to the Padres. Let me ask you a big picture vision question, because you're less panicked and you're more on the steady part of the emotional ride and the emotional roller coaster than I am. I think I'm in a loop somewhere upside down, screaming. But I ask you this big picture vision. I said when I watched this team against elite NL teams who could easily be in the World Series. It's not a foregone conclusion. It's the Dodgers, okay? It could be the Cubs. It could be the Phillies. It could be these Padres, all right? You with me? When I see the Sox against those teams in the NL, I see the level discrepancy. When I see the Sox against the heavies in the AL, it feels like they're heavies in the AL. Like they could be the team that gets to the World Series, okay? So I say all that to say this. Is this team maybe a year ahead of schedule in the sense of, okay, this team clearly is going to make the playoffs, barring some absolute meltdown, which I don't think any of us think is going to happen.
Right.
So my young core, Roman Anthony, all these guys, they're getting playoff experience. Check. Great.
Yeah.
This bodes well for next year and beyond. Should we, I guess my question, big picture vision, should we temper our expectations as it pertains to a Red Sox run in the postseason? Is the victory making the postseason and getting these guys the playoff experience? Or am I selling them short?
I don't want to say selling short, because let's track back to May, top of June. We were really having heavy conversations on whether or not this team could even see a postseason.
Right.
And there was just a level of disappointment and despair to all of that. Now, with some of the confidence and the win streaks that they were able to string together since then, we're screaming postseason, but it's never enough just to make it to the postseason.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You kind of feel like you're selling out when it comes to that point. So I do agree, great experience for the young core. I mean, we do have to remember we're playing out without Marcelo right now.
Right.
He told everyone he's not even out west. So realistically, between the many injuries that they...
Hi, this is Bob from East Haven, Connecticut, longtime Red Sox fan. I have to say that I disagree with Cora's decision to let Hamilton bat on Saturday, and I totally disagree with his decision yesterday to let Abraham Toro pinch hit. The only person Abraham Toro should be pinch hitting for is Abraham Toro. All right. Go Sox. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. And we want you to call us, 617-790-0928. But just wait till Casey's done. Go on.
Anyway, the injuries that this team has dealt with, I think that's where you may have to temper expectations as to how far things will go. But to Bob's point, really quickly.
Bob said, I'm going to let you finish, but...
I got something to say.
Yeah.
While there's a number of people that are still having PTSD with the trade deadline and harping on pitching, we do have to talk about the fact, and Bregman actually mentioned it, you cannot have the inability to get into scoring position up until the 7th inning and think that you're going to compete in any sort of game. So sometimes when they just have these cold bats, that works against them. So that's why I'm not going to sit there and be like, well, we should have done more here and there. We've seen them have progressive wins without, going crazy at the trade deadline, and then we've seen it be costly in a sense as well. So
all right.
Everyone's got to be on top of their game.
We want to hear from you. 617-790-0928. State your name, state your claim. Keep it clean. It's a family program.
Join Bob.
And just let us finish our takes, and then we'll come to you and we'll hear from you. All right?
That's all.
I had
something to say. It needed to be said.
I'm saying it right now. It's Cora's fault. Tweet at us, too, using the hashtag NESSONChat. Email us, thechat@nesson.com. When we come back, we're talking football. I mean, there was a statue erected outside of Gillette Stadium that changed the football world. And what rookie made Kasey come out of hibernation?
Lose her mind.
She stood up in her own living room screaming. The neighbors were like, 911, help, please. Hear about that next. Boston has entered the chat. Remember, 8 a.m. Monday through Friday on Nesson. 9 a.m. Monday through Friday, right here on Nesson Nation. Roll with us. You know you want to.
I thought we played to continue to build the identity of playing with great effort and trying to take care of the guy with the ball. We have to tackle better, and that happens sometimes in the first live action. A lot of good stuff to teach off of there. Continue to talk about the ball security, whether it came out or not, the opportunities where we feel like the ball is in jeopardy. Thought we ran it well. I thought, we took advantage. I thought we played a clean game. I thought we took advantage of the field position. Won that battle and, saw the kickoff returns, how explosive that play can be. And we're going to have to cover those same kicks this year. So did a lot of those good things. And then we'll just have to continue to improve the things that we talked about with the missed tackles or, getting into a rhythm with the passing game and, kind of just continue to progress.
Yeah, Braves! How about the beat down of the Commanders? I know it's only preseason, but I watched so much preseason football this weekend, it would make your head spin.
Right.
I was enamored with preseason football, and none better than the Pats whooping up on the Commanders. Excuse me, what does this thing say on the side of our screen? Pats to the Super Bowl? Am I reading that? Is this a real thing? Pats to the Super Bowl? It's one preseason game, Casey.
Yeah, I'm not all the way there, but
That's a long way to go.
Did I join the excitement? Was I in on all of the emotional highs of that first preseason game? Absolutely. I was all in.
I was
all
too.
in.
So let's get into the opening kickoff, shall we?
Shall we?
Now, before we get there,
Say his name.
we have to,
Say his name.
before we get there, we have to acknowledge the statue.
Oh, we have to go to the least
Why
exciting part
But
first.
why? You didn't like the statue? Why not?
The statue was fine. It
What
was
do you mean? Look at this. That's a leader of men. That's a goat.
That's a sturdy statue. And on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give it a 7. They didn't
7?
muck anything up per se.
Yeah.
You know
what
what I mean?
want?
Tom Brady was kind of like an emotional dynamite. So you wanted to see
emotion.
Yeah, you wanted to see an LFG moment. Well, he never did LFG.
Yeah.
Exactly that. Your reaction to how underwhelming was that?
It was underwhelming.
LFG.
That's very underwhelming.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like whenever he did that, he was like crouched over and both fists kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a little bit more bend in the knees. But
What about Tampa Tom when he was throwing the iPads around? You could have that.
I mean,
Sorry,
that
that was a shot at you. I'm sorry.
No. Oh, I didn't take it as a
apologize.
shot. I was just like, if New England's okay with some Tampa stomping through, then who am I to say no? But I can understand the reservation to play it safe and boring because a lot of statues have been very misrepresented
Ronaldo.
when they show some teeth.
Yeah,
And the
Dwayne
minute
Wade.
the teeth come into play, it's like the
Yes.
sculptors, we need to go find
Yes.
the real sculptors that can align some teeth and not make it look demonic.
Facts. I mean, look, you give it a 7 out of 10. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. But it's for all the reasons you said. I actually agree with you. This was a safe statue, right? You're
Brady
calling it boring.
Knew,
It was
Brady
safe.
knew it was boring because he felt the need to go make jokes that were so unnecessary for the statue
I didn't get
reveal.
that.
I think we were talking about it with our production team. It's
Yeah.
he's like, hey, where's that roast sheet from
What's
the
some
Netflix
ones
special?
I didn't get off?
And he's like,
Yeah.
oh, this one's gonna slap.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that too. Mike Vrabel's old, everyone. Ha ha ha. I was like, Tom, come on.
Tom, you're old.
But facts. But I'll give the statue an 8. I thought because they played it safe, I like that. I like that they didn't take chances. Because if they had tried, because you're not wrong.
True.
If they had tried to catch him in the LFG moment and they did it wrong.
Or just the scream.
We would have led with that the whole show today. We would have spent the whole show talking about how they bleeped up the Brady statue, right?
Yeah.
This was safe. I thought that was smart. All right, let's get to the game.
Say his name.
TreVeyon Henderson.
Full stop.
Woo!
Yes.
Woo!
Yes.
I mean, opening, bro. So some guys will come out, maybe catch a touchdown in their
I had
NFL
one
debut.
wish on my Christmas list. And what was it?
TreVeyon.
Thank you.
I mean, to touch the ball in a kickoff return roll,
Yep.
and you take it to the house, oh my God. That was dynamite. That was electricity.
And that was one of the many things. And I get he wasn't in that long, but to consider like his 18-yard rush.
Yes.
You want to see a guy who's going to freaking be feral towards defensive players. I mean, look at the stature on this dude, lowering his shoulder, shaking up defensive players. I don't care if it's your starters or not. He had a couple heads spinning out there, and he wasn't even in that long.
Yep.
That's the stuff that gets me excited outside of the 100 yards.
Yeah, well, I think what you're speaking to is just playmaking ability. He had a couple catches, too.
Football player.
Just
3
playmaking.
receptions.
Yeah, he can, anywhere you put him on the, and by the way, let's have this conversation. This team needs more of those.
Yeah.
Like, I love him, don't get me wrong, but this is, Efton Chisholm showed a lot, too. Like, this is what this team needs. You need playmakers. You need guys that you can just get the ball to in space.
Yep.
And they cook. You don't need Drake May doing every damn thing.
No.
Get the ball to these dudes and let them cook. That's why Brady has a statue. When you think about it, he was a great distributor and he was clutch as all hell, but he was getting the ball in the hands of guys that could do something with it. TreVeyon's one of those dudes. Here he is after his epic rookie debut for the Patriots.
Honestly, before, it's a lot of nerves, and so I try to take the time before the game, to just pray and cast my worries, give it to God, and just, ask that he just may have his way, whatever he wants, however it goes, that I may just come out thankful no matter what. And so, but when I got the ball, honestly, like I said, I wasn't even expecting that. And then when I saw the crease, it was on from there. And so, I think the biggest thing that helped me is, my purpose and the reason why I play this game. God calls me to work as heartily as for him and not to please men. And so I just try to come in with that mindset. Being in the NFL, being a young guy, second-round draft pick, it's a lot of pressure, and sometimes it's hard, with all that pressure being on you. But, the biggest thing is just I try to keep my eyes on the Lord. I know no matter what happens, I can come out here and give it everything that I got. And whether I have a good practice, bad practice, good game, bad game, I know God loves me and he's always here with me. And so that just motivates me to just keep going every day. I have my ups and downs as well. Some practices are good, some practices are bad, but I just try to keep learning and getting better.
I mean, there you go. This kid's humble. It makes you like him even more. I say this respectfully, Casey. Ramondre Stevenson is cooked. I think this kid, can we say after one game, I think this kid's going to be the starting running back.
I'm not going to speak ill on anybody, but being a Tampa girl and someone who covered Bruce Arians for a long time, he had many mottos, but one that stood out the most is ball security is job security. And one guy is really standing out in terms of securing his job, and that's a rookie running back.
Yeah, look, I think coming into this season, right, all of us feel as though this team will run the ball likely by committee anyway. It's not like, again, I'm trying to be respectful here, but Ramondre, this isn't Derrick Henry we're talking about, okay?
Yeah.
So you're going to come in, Ramondre, even if he starts, okay, he's going to get his carries, don't fumble, and then you're going to bring this kid in, right? So I think most of us felt that way. If you do feel that way, call us 617-790-0928 if you want to talk Patriots with us.
Right.
But, watching this, I think it should be reversed. I think TreVeyon should be the starter and get the bulk of the carries. And actually, let me take that back. Get the bulk of the touches.
Yeah.
There's a difference between touches and carries.
Yeah.
Ramondre carries the ball. This kid, you got to get him touches. Now we're like Christian McCaffrey, Saquon range of, we'll hand it to you.
Swiss Army knife.
But we're going to throw it to you. We're going to put you on returns. I think you get him involved. I think TreVeyon gets the bulk of the touches, and Ramondre is a change of pace. Maybe you get in the red zone, you want to hammer it in, you bring Ramondre in.
Right. Well, I think something else that kind of stood out for him, too, because I talk about lowering the shoulder, going toe-to-toe with defensemen, but also the fact that, he is a playmaker in the sense of, the smallest gap he may feel so much larger. So his ability to kind of attack that and make it count, I feel like is going to come in handy for this team as they still try to solidify what the offensive line looks like, which, speaking of, shout out to the offensive line because they looked better than we would have given them credit for
Thank
heading
God.
into this, considering the musical changes that they have had to play. But
Yes.
I guess this is where I'll eat my words, the versatility and be able to move guys around to see what's going to fit. It's working out for them.
You mentioned that offensive line. There was nowhere to go but up because Lord knows over the last 2 years it has been rock bottom. But you're right. The offensive line played great. And one of the reasons, Will Campbell, the rook, he was out there pancaking, bullying, bulldozing cats all night long. Here's Will Campbell after his rookie debut.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you know, after you do it, you just kind of got to get up, put it behind you, and go to the next play. It's kind of like that, you know, leave it all behind. You know, it can be a good play for if you have 60 plays in a game, 59 of them can be good. One bad one can, you know, ruin the night. So, you know, it's really nothing. You know, you don't get too high, don't get too low. You just try to, you know, put your best foot forward each and every play.
There you go. At least for a week, Case, we don't have to hear about how his arms aren't long enough, right? I mean, we can let that go for a week. He looked pretty damn good.
Let it breathe. I think what I like about this the most is that sometimes you have athletes where, like, they've got to feel out the real repetitions. Like,
Sure.
yeah, you guys had the joint practices. Yes, we're in the swing of training camp. But sometimes it's that real live rep where the intuition and the spark really goes off. And like you said, sometimes you just got to feel it. Once a guy like that feels it, how dangerous. How freaking dangerous. And I'm excited to see how he builds from that because he even still needs and understands that there's another step to be taken there. But he got off to a much stronger start considering majority of the storylines coming out of training camp.
All right, remember, if you want to talk Patriots with us, 617-790-0928. Call us, get involved. I can't believe we've gone 12 minutes in the segment and we haven't talked the quarterback yet. So let's do it now because it's law that we talk quarterbacks. Here on Boston has entered the chat when you're talking Patriots. And Drake May, I would say, I'm curious your thoughts. I would say mixed reviews from me in terms of, yes, he had the bad fumble. And I know a lot of people are concerned about turnovers with him, going back to his rookie season. But I'm not as concerned with that. What I saw that I really liked was the running touchdown later.
Third and goal.
I've been talking all off season ad nauseum about how I want Josh McDaniels to implement this part of his game more into his game this season because I didn't see enough in his rookie year. I thought he could have had a more successful rookie campaign if they had designed him to run, designed him to be on the move, throwing the ball, or keeping it as a running option if he wants sort of a RPO type vibe, than running for his life, which is what I saw in his rookie year. So I like that I saw Drake May's legs in the preseason opener.
Wait, so let's stick with that for a minute because I think that, you know, when it came to that opening situation, and of course he kind of mishandled the ball at that point, trying to get rid of it, too flustered. That's him trying to make too many decisions under a state of panic. And we talked about panic versus purpose, but what I love is that we saw him really kind of settle down after that and make the adjustments that we've also talked about. So yeah, it's going to happen. He still has some things to clean up from the previous season, but to know how quickly that he can adjust. And as soon as I watch that stuff go down, one of the first things I put in my notes is like, this is a guy that's going to abuse any sort of gaps that open up on the field. And that's what he did. He was so good with not being hesitant when he saw that opportunity and taking it, but it's going to be best fitted if it is designed, as you mentioned, rather than waiting for those moments to play out. But I think that he got a lot more poise. I think he settled in after that situation took place, and he knew it immediately. He tried to do too much there.
I'm expecting big things from Drake May this season. And I'm not as concerned with the turnovers as everyone else is. I watched Josh.
I don't think it's going to be a thing.
I don't think it is
either. I think
either.
He's still settling behind an offensive line that, you know, he's got to get more comfortable behind.
And again, another new system here in just year two. I also have watched Josh Allen turn the ball over for a decade, and he's still Josh Allen. And I'm not saying that Drake May is going to be that, but I'm just saying I'm not as concerned with the turnovers. I don't think it's as chronic as people let on. Like, oh, I'm so concerned with Drake. No, he's going to be just fine. And we also have to remember he's still in year two.
Right. It's better
decision making. This isn't a 10-year guy.
Yeah, it's better decision making.
By the way, I've never seen this score in my life. 48-18 was the final score. This has never happened in a regular season game. That exact score, 48-18, such a peculiar, they damn near put 50 on the Commanders. It's such a peculiar number. In fact, coming up in the show, there's even more preseason milestones that we have never seen before happening in the preseason. We'll get to that later. Something Casey says she can do if you just warm her hammies up. That's a hell of a tease right there. Hey, roll with us here on Boston.
Trying to start the warming before people see what's going on.
Roll with us. Casey's hamstrings and more. We got it all here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Roll with us 8 a.m. on Nesson Monday through Friday and 9 a.m. right here on Nesson Nation. Time now to see what's trending in the world of sports. Here's your hint. Show the wrist off. Shedeur Sanders was stellar.
Is that your strong wrist?
Shedeur was stellar in his NFL debut. 14 of 23, 138 yards, 2 tutties, no picks as the Browns just beat the hell out of the Panthers 30-10. There it is. Only a matter of time. Nike, just do it. Show the wrist. When you get your opportunity, create. There it is. Here's the tweets as Browns fans who don't have anything good to say ever or to celebrate. Tried to humble them and they created a monster. That's a future line for those who don't know. I can't believe the Browns finally have a franchise QB. You better believe it. Shedeur feeding families right now. Facts. I mean, listen, this just goes to show what anyone with a brain who watched college football already knew.
Right.
There was no reason for this guy to drop as far as he did in the draft. It was ridiculous. He's a first-round grade. Everyone who watched college football already knew this. I knew this. You knew this. But he drops. He goes to the Browns. Mm-hmm. Hey, they try to bury him on the depth chart. He gets an opportunity. He makes the most of it, right?
Yeah.
Would you be shocked if Shedeur Sanders is a starting quarterback week 1? I would not.
No, because before all the headline drama and basically trying to find ways to, I don't want to say character assassin, but they tried to make him unlikable leading up to the draft. And let's not pretend like some of the things were just kind of out of left field.
Sure.
He fed into some unlikable things, but
he's arrogant.
Right. But you got to take emotions off the table and talk strictly about his quality of play.
That's right.
We saw him be so consistent in college football, and this is why we were hearing so many rallies behind him and the initial excitement heading into the draft. Then once the arrogancy kind of like jumped into the mix, then it was all of a sudden like the kid couldn't play football. So I think that you have to be able to separate things.
Well, even the arrogance portion of this, what do you expect? It's prime son.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders is his dad.
Work ethic is his DNA.
Yeah, he works hard, he's talented, but of course he's arrogant.
Right.
Like, I don't understand. It'd be like someone being shocked if my kids were loud and obnoxious. Hello? Have you seen their father?
DNA
of course.
does something.
Well, thank God right now, because they're 8 and 6. Right now, they're more like mom, but they could develop into me.
There's still a chance.
I mean, of course he's arrogant. I don't understand why people knock him on that. And by the way, at the quarterback position, if you're arrogant, great. That's where I want you to be super confident at that position, Case.
Yeah, but not early on. I will say,
earn it.
Yeah, you got to get through a couple seasons first, because we've seen some guys come out of college, have hot college streaks, do well-ish their first season.
Right.
It's called a sophomore slump for a reason.
Facts.
Because then all of a sudden, all the outside factors start kind of manipulating your play. So I like a confident quarterback.
Right.
Not arrogant per se.
Well, I tell you what, you said you need a larger sample size from Shedeur, but at least in this first look, this first preseason game, he looked the part. Here he is after a stellar performance.
I'm just thankful to even be able to have, the joy of just being on the field overall, then carrying the responsibility of doing the right thing. So that's 2 badges under my belt already. That I got out there. I feel like we operated the huddle really, really good. I would say I've been able to sleep good at night, knowing I was playing. I didn't know I was playing till, one of the days that was close. and then I just prepared as normal. But it was definitely that switch and it kicked in. And when you out there on the field, it just is different. Like, you understand, ball's ball. But ball never been a problem for me. It's, whatever optics or whatever everybody makes up after outside the game. But in the game, y'all kind of know who I am.
There it is. Maybe the draft humbled him, Case.
Literally the same thing. Ball is ball.
Yeah.
And then optics are another thing. You know what I mean? There's always 2 sides to a coin. So if he can perform, then let him perform.
All right, here's another one. Did you see this video? Jaguars kicker Cam Little did anything but make a little kick. 70-yard field goal during the preseason game against the Steelers. Look at this. This is Steph Curry range for kickers, brah. This is insane. 70 yards. Now, this obviously would have been a record, but, you know, the preseason and all.
Garbage.
70 yards. Case, this had more leg on it. He could have kicked to 75 yards.
I just went, like, everything I feel like needed to cease to exist after this. You know what I mean? Like, this is one of those moments, preseason or not, that it's just like, everybody go home, call it. That is, as a former soccer player, I'm sick over that. Especially because he didn't look like he had to do too much over torquing of his body, too much manipulation of any sort. I mean, what a smooth delivery, even approaching the ball. And like you said, he still had a little bit more in him. Oh my gosh, I could watch that one on replay, but the most disappointing thing is
it's preseason.
It doesn't count.
I know.
It doesn't count.
Now, if you had saw that in your living room, curled up in your blanket, would you have stood up the same way you did TreVeyon
Oh my God, I would have been put me back in the unhinged category. I would have been running through my house. I would have ran for that. And then I'm that psychopath that's like, hey, I want to go outside and play and just see like what I can do after watching something like that. I know, I'll grow up one day. But again, it's just appreciation from like a former soccer player standpoint.
Okay, so you may grow up one day, but today ain't the day. So I ask you.
Nor is this month.
If we got you out there right now on a football field, got your hamstrings warmed up. I know how it is.
I was going to say, this right one's been tight since hockey.
We get the hammies activated.
Yes, thank you.
And we line you up. How far could you kick right now, field goal, and make it, you think?
Oh, my God. I could make a proper field goal, I think.
Yeah? Like a 25, 30-yarder right now?
Yeah. Like right now, it's been a long time.
Clip this off, Ethan. We have got to test this hypothesis. She said she could nail a 30-yarder right now today. We got to warm up the hammies, but she said she could do it. We're going to make it happen.
I always had strong legs.
Okay.
So I'll try to rely on that. But
we'll workshop it.
Maybe I should dial that down. 18.
All right, how about the 18? 20. We'll round it up.
There we go.
20-yard field goal. All right, here's another one. A'ja Wilson makes history with the first 30-20 game ever in the W. She finished with 32 points and 20 boards in a win against our Connecticut Sun. Thanks a lot, A'ja. 32 points, 20 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, 52% from the floor. First 30-20 game in WNBA history. Good Lord, Casey.
Is she human? No, this makes if any player was going to do it, she makes so much sense.
Yes.
She makes so much sense.
Best player in the world.
The amount of points that she literally put on her back to carry her team through time and time again. Just last season. Last season, there were so many like moments where you're like, if not for Wilson, then what would this team really look like?
Sure.
How would they be delivering? So you're freaking going off on the point side of things. And then, I mean, what is she, a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year?
I was going to say.
On top of that, like, you love athletes that just have the complete game to deliver for their team. So, like, again, any player to make this make sense, Wilson.
I mean, she's an all-time great already. Yeah. And so this is, what she's doing now is just padding the resume with things, right? Like, she's a champion. She's a defensive player. She's an MVP. So she's getting, like, all these accolades now added to her name, added to her legacy. And we're witnessing it. I'm at the point now, at this stage of my life, I've stopped hating. Like, I used to hate. I still hate, don't get me wrong. But I used to even hate on greatness. I would look at a LeBron James and pick apart things, right?
Right.
I'm past that point now. When I see stuff like this in A'ja Wilson, I do stop and smell the roses. And I'm just like, listen, like, we're watching greatness. I'm witnessing it.
Oh, yeah.
Think how many great athletes we've seen just in our lifetime. She's one of them, Casey.
Yeah.
You have to now. I think when her career's done, she'll probably get the flowers she deserves. Because I don't know. Right now, we give her accolades, but we don't talk about her as an all-timer.
No.
That's exactly what she is, Casey.
Yeah, and I feel like, I mean, you hate to think that one of these situations have to make sure that we put more respect on her name. Because, again, we talked about her a lot last season, only when it was like, oh, she pulled through 20-plus points for her team to make them help them secure a win. But she deserves a lot more, considering everything that she has stacked for. And like, also when she puts on stuff like this, or even performances close to this, like, it just continues to add respect to what the WNBA has become as a whole. Because let's just talk about the direction that is trending in. So I'm right there with you, except for the disrespect part. I cannot be a fan, but like, I can always appreciate athleticism or like good athletic performances.
I would always hate. I don't know why.
That's unfortunate.
I stopped though. I grew out of it.
You grew out of it.
Yeah, I did. I used to pick holes at, you know, even the only person I really couldn't do it was Tom Brady, because how can you? But I did bet against Tom several times and lost. That 28-3 Super Bowl, I bet against them. I was counting my money at halftime. I thought the Falcons had that one.
Wild.
So, like, that's an example.
I thought they were out for the count on that one.
I think everyone did.
Yeah.
Except Patriots fans, because they knew. You guys always knew. And if you want to call us, I always say call us 617-790-0928. Hell, I'm even wondering what was more impressive to you, Cam Little's 70-yard field goal, albeit the preseason, or Asia Wilson's 30-20. I even think that's a nice little trivia right there. Who do you think's more impressive?
Oh, I'd love to hear what everybody
Well, what
thinks.
would you say, former soccer player? You going the field goal kick or you going Asia?
I mean, where do you think I'm going?
The field goal kick.
Yeah, like no one wants to see how I got excited in my own home for that. So
I'll go Asia. You know why? Because that kicker's still a kicker. Sorry. I mean, it's impressive what you did, man. But you don't tackle. You don't tackle anyone. You don't throw any passes.
you can find footage of a kicker loading up a tackle here.
Footage, but
Yeah.
it's not consistent.
It's not necessary. There's a difference.
I'm just saying.
Don't disrespect me.
Asia Wilson, she's getting buckets. Okay? You kick 70-yarders, she'll block your stuff 70 yards. How's that sound?
You want to see her come off
There's
the
a
line?
hate again.
There you go.
There's a hate.
You went right back after saying you grew up.
Yeah.
All
You know
right.
what else I do? Gamble heavily early in the morning. I'm going to make Casey do it with me next on Brekfast Bets. Roll with
I
us.
tried not to. It's just Monday. It's just Monday.
Welcome back to Boston has entered the chat. Travis Thomas, the Kasey Hudson, and what goes with the breakfast? Coffee, bacon, eggs,
Bread.
pancakes. Oh yeah, all the starch. And gambling. Woo! Come on, Casey. Let's do it. Who we gambling on?
I don't think it'd be honest for me to join the degenerate pool, but
I know I'm so excited.
you're so excited. You're so ready to go. You know where we'll start on this?
All right.
Red Sox Astros.
Okay, I'm with it.
We gotta just roll into that one. I'm not a big money line gal, especially when it comes to like heavy favorites in any sense, because I think that tides turn and all of that.
Sure.
But just to mention for anyone who is into it, the Red Sox have won 60% of the games that they have played as favorites. Right now, they're sitting at minus 174, depending on where you look. So,
I love it when you talk like that.
a nugget. Look, you got Bregg returning home.
Okay.
I got him to record 2 total bases at plus 110.
All right.
I love to sneak in a plus money value there because he had a moment versus the Padres where he kind of copy and pasted what he did in the first inning of game 1 and the third inning of game 2. And I just, look, he's so stoic. He's not going to talk about it. He's not going to go into heavy detail, but I just think that he's one of those guys just fully capable.
He
knows
dig that
field like the back of his hand clearly. So
Yeah.
him finding success, I think, is something that's going to help register.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you think he's stoic, he's going to be a stone cold killer against the Astros.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
All caps with the A.
Yeah.
Then you can't have any sort of Red Sox bets without Trevor Story. I was dancing on the line here, so maybe you can help me be a little bit more decisive.
All right.
Now, he did record a run in each game versus the Astros here at Fenway.
Okay.
Him to record a run is plus 110, but he's also the RBI king.
Right.
Depending on the lineup, you put a run in the mix for an Anthony Bregman and Duran, and then you register an RBI for him. That's coming in at plus 170.
Okay, so record a run is plus 110, record an RBI is plus 170, you said?
Yeah.
Give me that plus 170. I'll take that.
I knew it.
I mean, look, if we're going to gamble, we might as well gamble. Roll them dice. Let's do it. 7.
At least a good friend once told me, like, it's less risk factor to put your beer money on there.
Yeah.
Like, a couple coffees into the mix.
What's a mortgage or two?
I knew you were going to take it too far. Please bet responsibly.
2 mortgages, not just one.
All right, and it's crochet day, so how do you not have something?
What's a car repo? Who cares about that?
As long as your ego doesn't mind, then you're good to go.
What you doing for crochet?
Over 7.5 plus 106.
Oh, I love that. Strikeouts?
Strikeouts.
Yeah.
Like,
I can dig it.
give the king his dues. Through
All
10
right.
innings versus Houston career-wise, 17 strikeouts. And then you're talking about a guy who really goes to town on strikeouts on the road. 100 so far this season on the road, 83 at home.
Okay. Well, listen, you inspired me. You know what I'm going to do?
To be more of a degenerate?
Yes. I'm going to take the Red Sox to win the series against the Astros at even money.
Okay.
For everything you just said for tonight's game, I can dig it all, and I'm just going to roll it over like a 401k and say, you know what? They're going to start tonight, set the tone like we are on Boston Has Entered the Chat. It's Monday. We're setting the tone for the rest of your week, right? Okay, call us in, 617-790-0928 if you want to gamble with us here on Brekfast Bets.
Right.
So I'm going to take everything you said for tonight, and just say that the Sox, I believe, will win this series against the Astros. I already told you to start the show today. I've seen enough of the Red Sox against the heavies in the National League. I want no more of that. I want no parts of that. No mas. I'm tapping out, okay?
No mas.
However, when it comes to the American League, they are the heavies. They belong in that grouping. So the Astros are right there. Looks like a postseason team. Okay, no problem. You're going to win that series, okay? You're not dealing with, if you're telling me it's not Padres, Mets, obviously the Phillies, Cubs, even a healthy Dodgers team, I'll bet on the Sox. Give it to me. I'll take them to win that series at even money. Now, I want to stay in the American League for a second.
All right, party here.
Although the Sox could go to the World Series.
Good.
They are 10-1 right now to win the AL. It's not where I'm going.
Oh.
I felt as though the Sox should have done more at the trade deadline. They did not. There was a team in the American League that quite literally did the moves
Did a lot.
I wanted the Sox to make.
Oh.
It's the Seattle Mariners. Now, adding Naylor, adding Suarez, not one, two guys I thought the Sox could get. The other one's Merrill Kelly. He went to the Rangers. This ain't about them. I think the Mariners to win the American League feels like a good bet. Now, this is just my gut, right?
Right.
So I look up the numbers.
This isn't you harboring feelings about the trade deadline.
No, I'm still very upset, as you can see. You can see.
Just
We're
wanted to
talking this
clarify.
out. This is therapeutic.
Always.
So I go, I like what the Mariners did at the deadline.
Right.
They're obviously a team battling with the Sox here, a wild card. So I go, all right, let me go look at their number. Oh, they're the favorite to win the American League. Vegas always knows. I looked at this pre-trade deadline. I don't remember what the number was for the Mariners, but they weren't favorite.
Okay.
So you're telling me, in a post-deadline world, Vegas said, I like what they did and made them the favorites. So guess what? So do I. Give me the Mariners to win the AL plus 350. So that's what I'm doing there.
You put your house on it?
No.
Okay.
Are we good on baseball? Can I move on to some other sports here?
Pivot.
Because I have more.
Pivot.
Anyone coming with me? Anyone want to bet? Tobes, you in? 617-790-0928. If you want to get in here and bet with us. Okay. You want NFL or you want college football? Because I got everything.
Take me to the
I
NFL.
got bets falling out of my pockets. It's so many. All right, NFL. Let's start in town, shall we?
Yep.
Patriots. Your Patriots to make the playoffs. Plus 130.
I'm here for that.
Okay, so let's talk this out.
Walk it out.
You and I have talked about a win total range.
Right.
So we've said we could see at the floor this team going 7-10. You ain't making the playoffs, right? But then we talked about, could this team win 10 games? Yeah. So we flipped that, 7-10, 10-7.
Right.
If they go 10-7, Case, or even 9-8, you're talking wild card. And you and I are in that neighborhood in terms of win totals. Mm-hmm. So at first I was thinking, all right, let me just bet over on the win total. So I went to, I think the number was set at 7.5. I was like, I like the over.
Yeah.
Minus 180. I said, now I don't like the over. So then I looked at, well, how much, if I think this team's going to win over 7.5 games, logically speaking.
Logically.
It could be 8-9, but it could be 9-8, 10-7. How much would it be for them to make the playoffs? And it was plus money, plus 130. I said, well, now I like that one. Patriots to make the playoffs, plus 130. Your thoughts?
I'm always leaning towards a plus opportunity when it comes to betting. What very little betting I do anymore. But I will say what I like about this is we've talked about their strength of schedule for one, for two. In the non-sexy moments of the preseason game for them and the things that Vrabel is going to hammer for them to build off of, because he talked about building,
sure.
You saw them make adjustments with some of their mistakes like really well and really quickly.
Yes,
and again, we're talking about, not the easiest system to function in right now. Then you're talking about a defense that was pretty disruptive, and you're not even talking about your starters being as disruptive. So the building blocks that we saw in preseason game one, this is going to be a pretty competitive team.
Absolutely. All right, here's another one. I'm taking the Texans to win the AFC South at plus money. We love plus money. Plus 105. They won 10 games last year. They won the division last year.
One. Get to that.
There's so much hype right now with the Jaguars, but I saw Travis Hunter. He looked human in the NFL. I know Cam Ward looks good, but that's a team in the Titans that won 3 games last year. Get out of my face with that. And then Anthony Richardson still can't play football for the Colts. So I'll take the Texans by default at plus money.
Well, he might be out for quite some time.
Yeah, well, he should be out of the league, possibly. Because he's no good. And then
UF doesn't breed quarterbacks.
Last bet for the NFL. Somebody's got to win the Lombardi.
Risk it for the biscuit. Somebody get a zoom in on this.
I have watched. Ain't no way they can zoom in on that. I have watched.
It's to save you.
I have watched people blame Lamar Jackson.
Save him.
They have blamed him for all the Ravens' problems. You know what I saw in the playoffs? Lamar played really well. You know who forgot how to play football and catch it? Mark Andrews, one of the greatest tight ends ever. I think the Ravens.
You know who bails on their game plan in the postseason?
The
Ravens.
But this
year,
year,
who completely tries to change their identity and what worked for them?
I didn't think
this
past year. I didn't think so this past year. I thought Mark Andrews' 19 drops killed him last year.
But that's what happens in your game plan.
It does.
Let's put a cape on Andrews and call it a success.
I know. This could be the kiss of death, but I'm betting the Ravens at 6-1 to win the Super Bowl.
Wow, if that goes off for you, I'm going to lose it.
It's risky. Quickly, because all he does, Lamar loses to Mahomes over and over again. All right, here we go. NCAA. Boston College over 5.5 wins, even money. I believe in Boston College this year. The ACC, I'm all over Clemson. More on them in a second. I think BC, especially at home, they're always tough to play. They cover a lot of spreads there. I think they're going to win a lot of games this year. Over 5.5 wins at even money. And then I'm staying in the ACC for the Natty. Here's another risky one. Clemson to win the whole shebang-a-bang. 10-1. I love Cade Klubnik. I love Dabo. If your head coach's name is Dabo, you know you're good. I'm taking Clemson to win the ACC. No one will give them props or respect because it's the ACC and all, not the Big Ten, not the SEC.
I just respect that they don't want to dabble in the whole transfer portal BS.
He's like, I want my own.
Yeah.
Homegrown. That was a lot of gambling there.
You really did. You really got it all in.
I'm exhausted after that.
Yes, so is your bank account.
Thanks for watching. The party continues on Nessa Nation. Roll with us. You can catch us every day right here at 8 a.m., 9 a.m. on Nessa Nation. Come on over. We're partying.